Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Bird's Nest Podcast. I'm Joe Donahue. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Dallas Week. The Philadelphia Eagles are taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington at AT&T Stadium on Sunday afternoon. This is an interesting game because, first off, it's the first time that the Philadelphia Eagles will be taking their Kelly Green jerseys on the road since the Eagles brought them back a couple years ago. And it's also, while the Eagles are in the driver's seat, divisional games can always be very challenging. And I think there's a general sentiment among Eagles fans right now that this team is definitely playing a little bit ugly or really one half of the game very well. So it's going to be an interesting game, and we're going to take a look, obviously, and see how this does pan out on Sunday. But joining us today to help us prepare for this game, he's an Eagles digital content creator who you've probably seen on your social media feed. It's Justin Fiorillo. Justin, thank you so
Hey,
much for taking
thank
the
you.
time.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me. Love your show. Love what you're doing. And hey, you pronounced the last name pretty well. Most people butcher it, so you did pretty good. I'm excited. It's Dallas week. Boo!
All
But
right.
we gotta do what we gotta do this week, man. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Now, we'll obviously talk about that game in a minute, but Justin, I want to get your thoughts here. We are well over half of the way through the season. I want to get your thoughts on this team. How are you feeling as an Eagles fan?
Well, I feel good that we're 8-2. I feel great that we're 8-2. I feel ecstatic that we're 8-2. But there's issues with this football team, and there's obviously starts with the offense, which is the glaring issue. And then it's probably just the defense has really came together. There were some secondary issues, but Howie made some moves before the trade deadline, and I really think the defense has come together, especially the last few games. Last two games they've held their opponent to 16 combined points, so they're doing their job on defense. But there's offensive problems on this football team. I'll say the Voldemort word, KP, Kevin Patullo. He is I believe, an issue with the play calling. But I believe this football team, look, the style in which they're playing, you'd say they can't go back and win a Super Bowl right now because they're not playing the best football they can play. But they're winning games against top NFC competition like this. So come playoff time, will they flame out like they did in 2023? Or will they get their act together and go on a run, maybe starting this Sunday like last year? So we'll see.
Yeah, that ultimately does become the question: is how will the Eagles fare for the rest of the season? Obviously, we don't obviously want a repeat of 2023 where we lost 6 of the last 7 games of the season, and obviously not a good look. You brought up Kevin Patullo, and it's no secret that his play calling has not been very well received, and that is a huge optimistic way to
Mhm.
put that
Yeah, yeah,
for most Eagles fans.
very.
What is it about KP's play calling for you that
Yeah.
really tends to grind your gears a little bit?
Well, I think first we could be running Jalen Hurts a little bit more. I think he doesn't run him as much and maybe to the outside as I would like to see him do. It's vanilla play calling. It's boring. There's no creativity. He 1 week he does not target AJ Brown at all, and then like 1 week he tries to force feed him the next. It's a media thing. I've noticed that happen in a couple, once or twice this season. Stylistically, he does that for some reason. I'm not sure why he's doing that. But I think the Kellen Moore offense was just it just flowed better. It got our receivers collectively more involved. I feel like the Patullo offense, and there's no I don't know what the scheming in the run game is really what's also shocking this year, especially after last year. I know we've had some injuries, and I know the offensive line isn't the same. We've lost some pieces over the offseason, but still, there's no reason that and in his run game, these inside zones, I think it's like he needs to get more creative with the run game, get Barkley to the outside more too. So those are kind of some tactical things I think Patullo needs to change. Um, but I don't know, and I'll tell you what, Joe, I was at the Denver game actually. I had a privilege to be a fan experience down in the tunnel actually, and I saw AJ Brown. I have it on film. I put it on my page. I don't know if you saw this. AJ Brown and Kevin Patullo walking out of the locker room together. Looked like they were best friends, laughing, having a good time, almost like all that media nonsense, like they hate each other and it's like they hate each other and they don't talk, was like totally like I saw it up close and personal. It's almost like it's like totally a business out there. I feel like it's totally like they might be best of friends, and it's just like we don't even know the real story. And I saw Deshaun Jackson talk today, actually, as a segue about this, about the whole AJ Brown thing, and he said that he doesn't even think it's football related. He thinks it's something else completely, actually, which is an interesting thing that I noted. And we'll see if that's true or not. But I don't know. I just want the team to come together offensively, defensively, and just play well.
Yeah, for sure. And regarding the AJ Brown stuff too, I saw a report from Jeff McClain at the Inquirer, who's probably, as media people go, he's probably the most tapped into the Eagles among the beat writers.
Sure,
And he even said, like, this whole thing seems very overblown with the AJ Brown stuff.
it
I've
is.
avoided talking about that here for a variety of reasons, mostly because that's been the sense that I've gotten, has
Yeah.
been that it seems to be very, very overblown. And
And I would agree with that 100% because I think it's totally overblown. I think AJ Brown, just speaking the obvious, I mean, the offense is not running the way it should be, in my opinion. But
mm,
I don't know what the actual issue is on or off the field. But yeah,
yeah, I mean, in the long run, it doesn't seem to be impacting AJ's on-field performance. So whatever
sure.
nonsense is happening,
Yes.
that's one of the reasons why I've
Yeah.
kind of been dismissive about it as well.
Yeah.
Um, so with regard to the run game, right? Because we've seen, first off, we've heard offensive line players. Lane Johnson, I think in particular, has mentioned this, that the Eagles haven't been playing very well at offensive line, and I think
Hmm.
that certainly could be factored into this.
Yeah.
Um, but do you think it's more of an issue of like the line isn't creating the holes for Saquon or whoever's running up the middle, or is it a
Yeah.
case of the defenses are doing a really good job of stacking the box?
That's a great question and a great point, Joe, because I really believe it's the latter. I'll tell you why. I think it's we have too much talent on the offensive line, regardless. I mean, maybe they're not playing to their full potential, but just the talent's out there. I think here's the biggest issue. You had the historically greatest running back season of all time last year for Saquon Barkley. So, and he's on the cover of Madden, all the whole 9 yards. What do you think teams are going to do this offseason? What do you think? Saquon talked openly this offseason. I want to be the first running back ever to have back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons, blah, blah, blah. Defenses, Saquon Barkley is like he was like the biggest story in football the whole damn off season. So and the whole season. So they're going to target him, and they have been. And I bet I can sense his frustration. We'll never know the truth, but I can just tell he's probably frustrated out there because he is a great guy. He's a team player. He's a good guy. He wants the team to win. He keeps saying that in his post game pressers and all that. But he knows probably that he still has. I mean, you saw the second play of the Giants game. He has the athleticism. There's highlights he's made this year in little 15, 16-yard bursts, some crazy jukes, some spins. We saw the Green Bay game. He has it, but I think defenses are targeting him a lot more.
Yeah. So that definitely calls up the whole idea of like scheming differently,
Yeah.
going back to that whole KP thing. And
Well,
and it
true,
definitely
true.
feels a lot too like this. So the first couple of years that Nick Sirianni was here, brought in Shane Steichen, who was kind of an outside perspective. I'm gonna put a very big kind of in there because um I obviously they would have had to have some kind of a relationship for Nick to bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
Then in 2023, we had Brian Johnson, who was an internal hire to replace Shane Steichen.
Yes.
And we all know how that season ended, and we all know the problems with that season's disaster of offensive scheming, right? It was
Correct.
either a go route to whatever defender, whatever receiver was down at the end of the field. There was no like mid game at all, no middle of the field use at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Last year we had Kellen Moore, external hire. This year we have Kevin Patullo, who's an internal hire. And it almost feels like, because there was speculation at the end of 2023 that Nick was getting involved in calling some of the plays, which he
Mm-hmm.
swore off.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Kevin Patullo in here, who's been like this with Nick Sirianni this whole stretch.
Mm.
Do we
I
think that this is maybe, because I've speculated this and I have no basis for this, but do we think that like just how close Kevin Patullo is to Nick Sirianni means that Kevin Patullo might not necessarily be the best play caller or might have similar play calling ideas to Nick? That it's almost as if Nick is calling the plays.
That's a really, really, really good point. And that's actually, it's interesting that like all the memes and stuff, and I'm guilty of them, I've made them on my page, are all targeting Kevin Patullo, right? But because Nick Sirianni is, he's Philly Nick, he's our guy, and we won the Super Bowl, right? And he's been to 2 Super Bowls. But hold up, like he is the head football coach here, okay? Like he is the head football coach. And if you want to, even if it's all universally known that Kevin Patullo is the play caller, like you're the head coach, you can override that shit. Like you can do something to make this different. And like you said about the external, well, I think the external hires are clearly better, I guess, because we're having much more success with the external hires than we are with the internal. At least it looks like to the eye. So I don't know what that's all about, but it would have to come down to Nick because there's under Nick's, coaching guidance and tree and whatnot. And yeah, I don't that would be my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I know. Like the 4th and 6 that occurred at the end of the Packers game, where
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Eagles went for it instead of punting it, and there was definitely a lot of observations that a decision like that, with such an impact on the game, doesn't matter who the play caller is. That's a
Mhm.
decision that's going to rise to the head coach. And Nick was
Correct.
very insistent that everybody was on board with the play and what have you, even in spite of reports that the play was changed at the line of scrimmage. But that still means, even if it was changed at the line of scrimmage, that still means the offense was out on the field. So there was a decision to go for it at that point.
Correct.
And that would be a game management decision, not a play call decision at a certain
Right.
point.
Right. Hey, we're Philadelphia Eagle fans. Andy Reid. Come on. We've had plenty of post game clock management questions decisions we've been witness to from the coaching side. Yeah. So and same with Nick. Nick, this is not the first time Nick would had a questionable call like that. We all know that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it does still feel good to be 8-2. Obviously,
Yes,
we're
yes,
not
yes. But
dismissing any of
no,
that.
no, correct.
There's been a fair bit of criticism about Jalen Hurts' performance too.
Mm,
Some of his throws, some of his feeling like he's telegraphing it a little bit at times. Um, I did see a good point brought up. I think it was Elliot Shore Parks at 94 WIP who
mm,
mentioned this, that if there's so much focus on Jalen Hurts now when the offense is not doing well, if the offense turns it around, we have to make sure that we're giving Jalen the same amount of love, right? Because
yeah, yeah,
if it turns around, he's all, and it's because we're criticizing him, he turns it around and we're getting better. We also have to acknowledge how well how well he plays in that regard too.
yeah, absolutely. And you expect if you have more wins, if we go from 8-2 to 9-2 to 10-2 to 11-2 to 12-2, keep going. That Jalen Hurts is going to be a big part of that because he's the quarterback here. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Starting now, we've got a big game coming up on Sunday.
Yeah,
Dallas,
yeah,
always a big game.
yeah,
This also becomes a really interesting challenge too. It's the Dallas Cowboys offense is their strength going up against the Philadelphia Eagles defense,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is our strength right now.
Yes.
And I'm curious to see, as you're taking a look at this game, as we're a couple days out from it at the time of this recording. What are your thoughts about this game? Where should the Eagles be? What are the Eagles going to have to do to defeat the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, well, how many times in the offseason do we go when we go through our schedule predictions, we go, well, we might split with Dallas. We're going to split with Dallas, right? Like we sometimes say that as Eagle fans. Sometimes we say we'll sweep them, but if we're being honest, a lot of times in the offseason, I've heard Eagle fans say we might split with Dallas, right? Especially in recent years. Well, if that's the case, and and we struggle, I think I have to look at the statistics, but I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 out of the last 5 we've lost down there in Dallas. So if that is true, we struggle down there, and we have split with the Cowboys sometimes, and we should not take the Cowboys lightly in this game. We have to give them their respect in that regard, especially on their offensive side of the ball. But here's the thing: we should clearly we're the better team. We're breaking out the Kelly Greens. So if anything, it should be an intimidation tactic because all the dominant defenses from the '90s used to wear the Kelly Greens down there, and they used to. I know they never got the job done, but it might be gets the team mentally riled up, gets them in a good mindset wearing those uniforms. So I think it's maybe a bigger factor than we think. So, and I think this is a big game for the Eagles. Everyone's talking about the Cowboys need this game, but the Eagles really need this because if they drop this game, they lose to the hated, dreaded Dallas Cowboys, right? And the offense looks like the way it's been looking and whatnot. Then what? I mean, this is Philadelphia, Negadelphia, right? Like, what do you think the vibe's going to be if they go down to Dallas and lose? They'll be 8-3, but they'll be the worst 8-3 team you can remember in recent years, right? So they got it. But if they go down there and destroy the Cowboys, you go, ah, something happened. They fixed it. Whoa. Here's what I want, Joe. I want after this game, finally, I want to go, whoa, that was Kevin Patullo? What the hell was that out there? He was calling this and this play and that. Like, that's what I want because when have we said that? Like, when have we go, yo, that was some dominant offense I just watched right there. Woo. Like, I don't really feel that as an Eagles fan this year. I feel like we're getting by and we have moments. That's about it.
Yeah, I feel like as and we saw this with the Denver game. We've been seeing this a lot over the course of the season. Is that one of the reasons why these games feel so stressful is the fact that the Eagles tend to allow teams to hang around for too long, right? So we
Right.
have, in the Denver game, the Eagles had opportunities to put the pedal to the metal and they didn't. And then we all know how that game ended.
Right.
The last couple of games where the Eagles have only scored 2 touchdowns over 2 games, and they've been very low scoring affairs. That's a problem because that allows for opposing offenses to really come about and try and put themselves in a late game situation where they're able to overtake the opposing team. We almost had that this past Sunday with the Lions, where
Almost.
they
Yeah.
they they went down. They were able to. Eagles had that turnover on downs on
Yeah.
the tush
Yeah.
push that didn't
Yeah.
work, and we gave them an opportunity. And thank God
Yeah.
our defense was up to the challenge there too.
Right. And if you remember the Denver game, we actually blew that game. We should have won that game. The,
Mm-hmm.
the Giants game was arguably they kind of kicked our ass that game. But the Broncos game, we blew that game. So
Yeah. Yeah, and again, there's definitely opportunities for this team that have been missed, and
yeah.
we really have to, especially for these teams that we see multiple times a year, year in and year out. I did just take a quick look. So the Eagles, in 2021, we lost both games to the Cowboys. In 22 and 23, we split, and in 24, we swept.
Okay. So I mean,
So
there you go. I mean, then if you look at you kind of look at all that. So my point is that it should not be a given that we're going to go down there and win, but it should be a given in the fact of that we should, right? Like we
yeah.
should. We're the better team. So like,
Hmm.
there's nothing we should really be worried about if we have faith and confidence in the team, especially the defense. Look, when they played the Cowboys in Week 1, they created 5 turnovers. I think that's we really got to see that matchup, like you said, the Cowboys offense versus the Eagles defense, because the Eagles defense is scary good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if the Eagles offense is able to get it figured out and go to town on the Cowboys, I think this is going definitely we should be able to see this game land in the win column for the Eagles. Um, the Eagles this season, so earlier this season, obviously we faced them in week 1,
Yeah.
and the Eagles had to score 24 points to defeat the Cowboys. This week, how many points do you think the Eagles are going to have to score to defeat the Cowboys?
The same.
24?
24, yeah. I'd say about 24.
All
Because I
right.
think I think I do think the defense is gonna hold on. I think they might hold them to maybe 14, 17-ish, maybe 20. So maybe I'll go a little bit lower than 24, but I would say no higher than 24. Maybe between 20 and 24. If you want, all right, I'm gonna change it, Joe. I'm gonna go 20. It's 20.
All right.
Change it. I talked myself out of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, the Eagles, and the Eagles finished week 1, 24-20 was the
Yeah.
final score. So
Yeah. So I'll go 20.
somewhere in there. Yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat. I think maybe even a little bit higher just because it's a division game and
Mm,
the Cowboys offense is a strength of theirs. So I
yeah.
maybe like 27.
Mm,
27 for me to have confidence that even if for whatever reason we blow
yeah.
the game, that the Eagles kind of figured something out over the course of this week.
Right. Hey, that's we're playing the prices right, right? So we'll see.
That we are. Yeah. And then I keep hearing like it's couple weeks ago we had Herm Edwards on, and he mentioned like, hey,
Oh,
there's no
cool.
such thing as an ugly win.
How the hell am I going to live up to that as a guest? You got her.
And but he mentioned that there was no such thing as an ugly win, and certainly
Right. Yeah.
yeah. What definitely games feel a lot closer than
That's
that
something
though.
Herm Edwards would say, right? He has all those old time quotes and stuff.
For
So I
sure.
believe you on that.
For sure. All right. Well, Justin, where can people find you?
Oh, I appreciate the opportunity today. And like I said, everybody support Joe. Love Joe stuff. But you can find me on Instagram, Justin_Fiorillo. Fiorillo 94 is my Instagram handle. And I'm on YouTube as the Eagles Wingman.
All right. So definitely go give Justin a follow. Check out his stuff. It's great. You're going to have a laugh. You're going to enjoy. And it's as you're scrolling through, hopefully showing some love and get a little bit of, as you're scrolling through, hopefully show him some love and get get him some support. So Justin, thank you again for taking the time today.
Thank you, Joe. Go Birds.
Go Birds, and thank you so much to everyone for tuning into the Birds Nest podcast. You can support the Birds Nest podcast by liking and subscribing to Birds Nest Media right here on YouTube, as well as by sharing to your social media pages. You can also find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, the Odyssey app, and iHeartRadio. Please visit birdsnestmedia.com for additional Eagles and NFL coverage, and if you feel so inclined to support us in a different way, you can find the link to our Patreon in the description below or at birdsnestmedia.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's go Eagles!